Hi, everyone. It's Professor Linky. I hope you had a really awesome Thanksgiving break. Myself, I tried to unplug from the computer a little bit and spend some time with my family and my two crazy little boys. My youngest Jack is doing much better. Thank you for everyone who said kind words and I was asking about him. He seems to be back to his old self and has had a couple more head injuries since the one that sent him to the emergency room, but I think that's just having toddler boys. So fingers crossed. I wanted to make a short video that kind of explained the last two modules for us. As you can see, I have combined weeks 14 and 15 into one module. And the reason that I'm doing this is for two reasons. One is to give us one big module that we can complete to give us some extra time to complete the final assignments or extra time to study maybe for your other finals. And two, because week 15 at Southwestern College is typically pretty short. So the last day of the fall 2022 semester is December 7th, so that Wednesday. And then finals week goes from December 8th, which is that Thursday, all the way to the next Tuesday, Wednesday, so December 13th, 14th. So for us, that's kind of the time frame we're working at. So we have about 10, 12 days to work on weeks 14 and 15, and then we'll start working on our final assignments. So I'm just going to kind of walk you through everything and give you a chance to kind of hear my feedback and reasoning behind the order of the assignments and what we're going to be doing. And then please, as always, send me an email or some sort of message if you're confused about anything or if you have questions about any of the assignments. Okay, so we'll start with weeks 14 and 15. And one other thing that I would note is that as usual, you need to view these pages and assignments in order. So you start by clicking here and starting with the first page in the week 14-15 module, and you keep clicking next until you get to that page. Okay, so you keep clicking next until you get to that page, and then you can't view the final exam module until you complete all the items in the week 14-15. So please make sure you go in order. Okay, so we're going to start here. Again, this is just kind of reviewing the objectives of the week, talking about the activities and assignments. And again, this is the time to visit tutoring either online or in person if you're on campus to get help with these final assignments if you need them. Okay, so you click next. All right, so this week we're going to be doing our final weekly intention assignment. And so this one's a little bit different than the other weekly intention assignments that we've been doing each week in the sense where you can still tell me about your week or maybe some Christmas or Christmas break plans if you celebrate that or if you're going to be going somewhere. But all I want you to do is you're going to do two things to complete this assignment. First, in your own words, you're going to tell me what the definition of mindfulness means to you. So you're going to explain what mindfulness means in your own words, and then you're going to explain how you exhibited or brought in mindful practices to your learning throughout the semester. So this can be a compound, complex sentence, right? You could say, to me, mindfulness means A, B, C, and how I have used mindful practices for my learning this semester is XYZ, right? Or you can give me a paragraph about what you've learned, or you can give me a media recording that answers these questions, or something more creative if you want to think of that. All I'm looking for here is to see how you have become more mindful this semester and what that means to you as far as being a learner. That's one of the objectives of the class is to be more mindful and more intentional with our learning. And so that's something we want to track and kind of reflect upon for the rest of the semester. Okay, so that's all you're doing. You're submitting what mindfulness means to you. So what mindfulness means in your own words and how you have become more mindful in your learning this semester. And as you'll see, it's worth 50 points. So I noticed a few of us need a couple points to boost our grades. So this is a real easy way to do that. So please make sure you're writing complete sentences, starting with a capital letter, having a subject verb that agrees, punctuation, all that good stuff. Okay, just a little bit information about ESL 115A and English 115. So after you pass ESL 115 or ESL 159A and B, then you're prepared to go into transfer level English. So at Southwestern College, we have two kinds of 115 classes. We have English 115, or actually there's three. There's English 115, there's English 115 plus, and then there's ESL 115A. And so all of these classes complete your transfer requirements to the UCs or the CSUs. So the difference between them is that if you take English 115, then you'll be taking that with an English instructor, and there will be very little to no talk about English language learning principles like grammar or sentence structure or anything like that. It'll be mainly about ideas. And the cool thing about 115 is that you, depending on the professor that you get, the types of work that you'll be doing in 115 level will vary, especially the types of things that you're reading and analyzing. ESL 115A are taught by ESL professors. So both myself and Professor Whitsett will be teaching the sections in spring 2023. For me, I'll be teaching a hybrid section that meets on campus on Thursdays once a week, and then the rest will be online. So it'll be a bit of a hybrid class where you'll have some work to do on Canvas, just like we do in this class, but then we'll also be meeting once a week in class. And I will say that from my experience teaching 115A this semester, in the hybrid model, it's very there's a lot packed into those class periods, right? We were only going to meet 2 hours per week. So you want to make sure that you can get to class on time and attend those classes and really be present, because there's a lot that gets packed in those classes. And then there's a lot to be learned online as well. But all of you are expert at working online because you're in this fully online class right now. And if you would like to stay in that fully online class, modality, then Professor Whitsett will be doing the 115A asynchronously. So you'll have that option. You can either do a hybrid class or you can do it totally online like we did in this class. If you have more questions, you can watch that video or you can reach out to me. Okay, so here's your last vocabulary submission. So again, just like we've been doing the entire semester, there's some new words for you to work with. You're going to pick your own words from the articles as well, and you'll submit them in a Google document. This is the last one. You know what to do. Okay. And then for our last discussion as a group, we're going to talk about something positive and uplifting. So you're going to take one picture of something or someone that has added something positive to your life in recent memory and explain why. So you're going to add it to the discussion board and then give a little explanation, and then you'll reply to classmates. And so you'll notice that all the assignments in week 14, 15 are all due on Wednesday, December 7th. So that gives us about 10, 12 days to work with to get these assignments completed. So yeah, Wednesday, December 7th. Excuse me, I gotta get some water. Okay, and then we're gonna do some rhetorical analysis practice before we do it again for our final assignment. So we're going to be finishing our textbook readings page 81 to 86, and breaking down Chin Lu's essays. And so her essays are on Vice. They're these two articles. So there's just some background on the author. And then so the first thing you're going to do here is you're going to click one of these essays. So you're going to pick one of the essays to annotate and analyze. So we've been practicing all semester doing this, right? Annotating just means, closely reading something or reading with purpose. So reading to ask questions about why the author is making the moves that they make. So you want to think of these two questions down at the bottom. What is Lu saying? What is Lu doing in the text? So I would read both of the articles and the textbook and then choose which one you want to annotate. So you're going to click one of these links. And so when you click this link, it's going to open up a page that says, do you want to make a copy? You're going to say yes. And then you're going to annotate this article. Okay, so that's going to be the completing this assignment part, is giving some thoughtful annotation. So underlining key ideas or vocabulary that you don't know, or asking questions. Sorry, excuse me. Okay, so you'll pick one of these and annotate it, and then turn in your Google link to me so I can review it. Okay, then using that same article, so either the first one or the second one, you're going to write a rhetorical analysis paragraph. Again, when we're doing a rhetorical analysis, we're doing two main things. In the first part, we're talking about who the author is, what their overall purpose is for writing the article, who their audience is, who wants to read this article, and getting basically kind of the general background around the piece of writing. Then we rhetorically analyze it. And this just means, what are the strategies that the author is doing that really makes an impact on us as a reader? So I think we've all done a really good job, analyzing Dr. King's speech and the Bridges article for these rhetorical principles. So we're going to keep practicing so you can get some last feedback before you do this again for your final exam. So you're going to pick one of Lou's articles to annotate. Then you're going to write a rhetorical analysis paragraph about that same article that you annotated. Okay, and so that's it for this week. So again, all these things are due on December 7th. And so once you finish these assignments, then you can move on to the final assignments. Okay, so the final exam is due Monday, December 12th. And so, and there's 3 parts to the exam. There's part 1, there's part 2A, and part 2B. So again, this is a hard deadline, so you can't submit anything past that date. And so let's take a look at these. So the first part is looking at A Dream Called Home. So let's take a look at this. So throughout the semester, we have read and discussed the memoir, A Dream Called Home by Ariana Grande. For part 1 of this exam, complete the following 2 tasks. So we're doing 2 things for this exam. So you're using the second book of A Dream Called Home. So after she graduates from UC Santa Cruz and comes home, that's the part that we're looking at for this writing project. So first, you're writing 1 paragraph about a defining moment in Raina's life. Okay, so you're writing a well-organized paragraph that answers the question by explaining the defining moment and its impact on Raina's life. It should demonstrate a good understanding of the novel. So this is where you would use textual evidence from the book to support your opinion. So if you say that there's a life-defining moment in part 2, then it would probably be a good idea to support that with a paraphrase or a quote. That's the first paragraph. The second paragraph is a well-organized paragraph that explains 1 or 2 personal responses to 1 or 2 specific events, sentences, or passages in book 2 of the novel. So again, after she comes home, after she graduates. So a personal response can be anything that made you feel something while you were reading that second part of the book. So it could be something that you agreed with that Raina did or didn't do. It could be something that you disagreed with. It could be an opinion you have about something that happened in the book, something you liked or you didn't like about the book or the writing, or something that you could relate to or personally identify with. And again, you want to support these with evidence from the book. So you make a personal connection, or you're like, I really like this part because of this reason, and you support it with evidence from the book. So again, a successful answer for this writing prompt demonstrates good understanding of and critical thinking about the book and fully develops the response with explanations and textual examples. Again, I'm looking, the outcome for ESL 159A is for you to be able to read and comprehend and analyze written and visual text to rhetorically understand how author is making themselves understood during a piece of text. So the outcome that I'm looking for in this class is for you to write clearly and descriptively to explain your ideas. So starting at this point with being able to write in an organized way where you're writing topic sentences, you're giving a piece of evidence, you're explaining that evidence, and then you're showing the significance, while also understanding how to rhetorically analyze something, which means evaluate someone's argument or opinion. That's the starting point for the 115 level. So the first day in ESL 115A, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at an article and rhetorically analyze it in class. So this kind of feeds right into the beginning of 115. So this is the ultimate outcome that I'm looking for this class, is how you can take the themes and the ideas in A Dream Called Home and write about them clearly, descriptively, and by using examples from the book. And so you got this, right? We've already done this. We've done this a few different times and different types of assignments throughout the semester. So go back and look at those assignments again. You can use this book to help you write your writing project for this part 1. You can use ideas that you've already written about in your previous assignments. The only thing that I do not want you to do is to copy and paste sentences or paragraphs from previous assignments, right? I want you to create something new for this. You can use the ideas, but rewrite it. Okay? So that's part one, is you're writing 2 paragraphs about a dream called home, answering a defining moment, and then personal connections. Okay, and that's worth 25 points. Here's the rubric. And then part 2. So the first part of part 2 is annotating an article. So you're going to read this article right here. You're going to make a copy in Google, and you're going to annotate the article, and I'm going to give you points based on how well you annotate the article. So again, you're highlighting key ideas, golden lines, unfamiliar vocabulary words. You're asking and analyzing the article to see what the authors are doing and why they're doing those particular things in a way that's going to influence the person that's reading it. So you're going to submit your Google document with your comments and your annotation notes. That's the first part. So this is also worth 25 points. And then the last part, so part 2B, this is where you're going to write a rhetorical analysis paragraph. So again, as I just mentioned, right, what I really want to see as part of this class is for us to be able to write clearly and descriptively and analyze a piece of text rhetorically to see what the author is doing as far as using strategies to convince the reader of their opinion or argument. And so again, you're going to do that here. You're going to use this same article by these dudes, and you're going to use your annotation notes to help you write this paragraph. This should be a pretty detailed and long paragraph, so it should be about a page, I would say, and make sure that we're talking about who are the authors, what was the source, what is their general topic, what is their argument that they're making, why are they making, what's the purpose, and then 2 rhetorical strategies. So you're going to give me 1 strategy, give me textual evidence from the article, and then you're going to do a second strategy, give me textual evidence from the article. So this paragraph should be fairly long. And again, this is the starting point for ESL 115A or English 115. Okay, this is worth 50 points. This is the breakdown. There's the rubric. And then after that, you're done. All right. So if you have questions about 115A or English 115, then please come to my office hours or reach out to me. Other than that, after you complete these assignments, you'll officially be done with this class. I'm going to be doing my best to keeping all the grades up to date as you submit them throughout this week and next week. That way you can really focus, you can get feedback, and you can really focus on your final exams. You could, power through both modules today or tomorrow, or, in a couple days this week, and be entirely done with this class. I am totally okay with that. I would make sure that you get feedback from me on your last rhetorical analysis assignments before you do your final exam, just to make sure that you have a full understanding. But again, if you are leaving on vacation for the break, or you just really want to focus on your other finals in your other classes, then please feel free to complete this as quickly as you would like. And if you have questions, or you want to meet or need specific feedback about assignments, then please reach out to me. The only thing I'll say again is that December 12th is a real hard deadline, so please make sure you have all assignments completed. And then for any assignments that you're still missing or that you want to make them up. The last day that I'm accepting assignments from the weeks 1 to 15 modules are going to be December 7th. After that, I'll just be accepting the final exams. Okay. As always, please reach out to me if you have questions or comments. I'm here.